Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and massive news that we have, and that is the fact that we have a direct confirmation from Capcom and TiMI Studios Group, or TiMI Studios Group, that a brand new Monster Hunter game is being fully developed for mobile devices for a worldwide audience. Now, this information originally was revealed a couple of days ago, but other than the actual news itself, pretty much what I just told you, that was everything that they provided us with. So I didn't necessarily want to rush out a video and just basically speculate for 12 minutes. That was going to be a complete waste of time. Instead, I waited for an actual press release to come out, a couple of developer quotes, and more substantive details to go over, as we now have a little bit of a clearer picture as to what type of game this is going to be. Going to be leaving a link in the description below for an original 4Gamer article, which they provided us with the press release and a couple of quotes as well. Also going to be leaving a link in the description below for the Nintendo Life article, which provided some details in English as well, which were translated directly from them. Link in the description below. And lastly, a link to the official, or unofficial, I should say, Monster Hunter Spain Twitter account as well, as they provided a little bit more context as well. Alright, so first and foremost, according to the official 4Gamer article, they do mention that TiMI Studios, or TiMI Studios Group, will be working with Monster Hunter, or aka Capcom of course, as they work on, and I quote, this is a translation from Japanese, hunting action game or monster hunting game where you challenge mighty monsters. A completely brand new mobile hunter or Monster Hunter game will be provided for mobile platforms as a result of fans around the world hoping and wishing to get their hands on a more on-the-go experience. As if, of course, the Nintendo Switch version wasn't enough, of course, they certainly want to work on a mobile brand new game as well. According to the press release, it reads a little bit more detailed. They mentioned that we are pleased to announce that TiMI Studios, or TiMI Studios, and Capcom are co-producing a new app game for the Monster Hunter series. The app game for the Monster Hunter series, which is currently in full production, will maintain the typical play genre of hunting action as you challenge mighty monsters that symbolizes the series' continual support. We will be offering a game experience in a brand new environment that has never existed before. We will be delivering it to users with a unique ease of access. This is the first tie-up between TiMI Studios and Capcom, leveraging the technology and experience and even strengths of both companies to develop a completely new Monster Hunter game for mobile platforms. Old and new hunters alike will be able to go on the hunt and experience a brand new way to play whenever they want. Now, the article also does mention and gives you a little bit of a background as to what TiMI Studios has actually been about. Essentially, they are working under the umbrella of Tencent Games. If you don't necessarily know, Tencent is bigger than like EA and Ubisoft combined. They essentially make pretty much almost every major like successful Chinese, Japanese mobile game. Like, they have a hand in that whatsoever. So they're a massive studio for mobile devices. They make plenty of games in the Asian market for sure. They are kind of, and TiMI Studios, specifically under the Tencent umbrella, has worked on things like Honor of Kings, Speed Drifter, Arena of Valor, the Call of Duty mobile game, and Pokemon Unite. That is just some of the games that they have been working on. So, you know, they have some experience in just making high profile, big profit mobile games. Of course, that also ties in with gacha mechanics. This is just kind of like, you know, the way mobile games work nowadays. So, you know, if you're gonna like complain about gacha and free to play and stuff, feel free to do so. It's just understand that is just gonna be the way this game is gonna be built, one way or another. Now, based on the actual details that they give us in the press release, they do mention that, of course, this is gonna be one of the focuses that they have is ease of use. They want players to be able to jump in and out of the game without much of turmoil, much of a learning curve, if you will, if you want to consider it that way. So of course you can see Capcom seeing this as an entry-level title for, you know, grabbing a brand new audience and bringing it into perhaps whatever the next mainline Monster Hunter game will be, or even Sunbreak at that point in time. We don't necessarily know currently what the timeline of release or even information for this brand new game will be. We do know, based on also the press release, that this will be a global affair. So usually we have seen plenty of Capcom Monster Hunter games released in the past We have seen things like Monster Hunter Massive Hunting. This was one of the original mobile device games that was revealed that just simply never made its way into the West. Monster Hunter Explore. I've spoken about Explore multiple times already because Explore has just so many cool and unique monsters, and it had amazing collaborations. But of course, that was just a Japanese Asian market type game. Never made its way into the West. Another one was Monster Hunter Riders. This one was more a little bit closer to Monster Hunter Stories, the original Monster Hunter Stories, where your hunters specifically had kind of like a direct connection to the monsters themselves. So it was very similar to Stories in that regard. Visually, it was a rather appealing looking game, but I don't think it ultimately found a massive success. We do also should mention that Monster Hunter Stories, the 3DS original release, also ended up getting ported to mobile devices at some point in time. I don't know how monetization worked for that game specifically, so there's at the very least 4 or so Monster Hunter games that we can literally call back to that Capcom has already put out on mobile devices in one way, shape, or form, and they've had varying levels of success. I know Massive Hunting didn't necessarily do very well, but I think Explorer did extremely well for them. But ultimately, again, it's just one of those things. Mobile games don't necessarily last very long, so that is one of the issues. Working with TiMI Studios, however, and like I mentioned before, they've done things with like Honor Kings, which is massive. This is a deviation or a different name for the Chinese name, I think, for Arena of Valor. Call of Duty Mobile, you might not necessarily hear about it all that much, but it's still one of like the most popular mobile games that you still find out there. It runs relatively well on most phones, so it's one of those things where like it's very popular. Of course, Pokemon Unite, you've seen plenty of people complain about the monetization, but everyone still plays it. There is a version on the Nintendo Switch as well. So this could be one of those games that originally releases on mobile, but then of course makes its way obviously to PC. That could be one of the ways that they go about it. Plenty of mobile games have made their way into PC, and of course maybe in the Nintendo Switch as well, trying to leverage that Sunbreak Rise audience as well. I should also mention that Monster Hunter Riders is also getting it's gonna shut down service later this year as well. So it's one of those, like, they're shutting one game down but then starting up another one. So this is kind of like the cycle of mobile games. So as of ultimately what this is gonna be, how let's say action focused, how close to the full experience of a Monster Hunter game is gonna be, we don't necessarily have those details as of yet. They do talk about giving players a brand new unique experience only on mobile devices. Of course, that's pretty vague. When I really think about it, we don't necessarily know like how many weapons are going to be available. Is it going to be one of those tapping games? Is it going to be one of those like, stamina based game? But based on the previous experience that we have seen from these studios, that's usually the way they go about it. So, it's really going to be up in the air until we actually end up seeing an official trailer, a brand new official reveal, and then we can probably make more sense as to how big or how potentially interesting or bad this is going to be, based on, of course, a Western audience that doesn't necessarily embrace mobile gaming as far as in comparison to Chinese and Asian markets have so far, at the very least for 2022. But that's about all the details that I have for you guys today. I certainly wanted to gather all the details before I provided you with some feedback and some information as to what to expect for this title without really rushing into a video with 20 minutes of pointless speculation. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.